short video, I'm going to talk about hunger and fullness really briefly, because this is very much the root of our eating experience, I think. And sometimes we have to arrive here, or we have to maybe relearn this part of our eating experience to really kind of move away then from what we feel is emotional eating, which may be part of a response to restriction. So what we do in mindful eating, this is also a place to start. This is our direct experience with food and our eating experience, and this is how we honor ourselves and our fundamental needs for survival, to feed ourselves when our body tells us it needs to be fed. So the first thing that I would invite you to explore is, how do you know that you're hungry? And then we often talk about in mindful eating on a scale to 1 to 10. So be 10 being like super ravenous and maybe 1 being stuffed. And in some different school of thought, hunger and fullness sit on the same scale, and in other trainings or way of thinking, they sit on 2. And I actually personally prefer when we look at hunger and fullness on separate scales, because it means we have a bit more flexibility, and from here we can actually explore both how different types of foods affect our hunger and fullness, because some foods might blunt the hunger but they don't make us feel very full, and of course it depends on the volume of food we eat, whereas other foods might fill us up. So usually things like, if we have a lot of vegetables and salads and so on, they're really rich in fiber, we get a lot of volume, but they're quite low in energy density or calories. So unless we pair it with things like fat and protein, the chances are they're not going to sustain us for very long, but we would feel fuller than, say, if I ate a bar of chocolate, which is maybe more energy dense but it's really small volume. Or say if I was drinking a glass of water, I might feel temporarily less hungry, but I'm probably not going to feel very full. So from here, my invitation to you is to really start noticing your hunger and fullness cues. So ask yourself, and sometimes we may be a bit cut off from these sensations, because if we've spent a long time dieting or restricting and not eating according to our own cues, they might be very subtle and very quiet, and it would take continuous practice to tuning into these. But I feel that without this foundation, we're always going to be struggling against a whole host of other emotional eatings, which may not be driven by pure emotions. They might actually be driven by physiological needs. So this is why my invitation to you is to start paying attention. How hungry am I, and how do you know? So that's my video on hunger, and let's move on, and in the next one talk about fullness. Thank you.